the things that sometimes make us incapable is our minds. How we think about it. Like, that's why threats are so big, because it's how we think about it, right? Sometimes threats can be great ideas, right?
Yeah.
That one great idea. We do it all the time at CAU. We come up with a great idea, we throw it around, we get all excited about it, and then someone says, you know what? Maybe we should table that. Maybe we shouldn't do it right now.
Right.
Because if we did it right now, it's a distraction to what we're already doing. You see what I'm saying? Threats show up in every aspect of our lives, y'all. Every aspect of our lives. You have to be able to have a great sense, a great awareness of who you are. Have a great knowledge of how you can change the dynamic or change the perspective of your distraction so that you can leverage yourself in a way to be able to get to where you want to go. That's plain and simple.
Welcome to the $1 Million Equation Podcast, a podcast about the easiest, fastest way to build $1 million business based on the best-selling book, The $1 Million Equation. If you love business, each episode reveals all of the core fundamental essentials for growth. Now, here's your host, Richelle Shaw.
You spend most of your time with our clients, right?
Yeah.
And is that what you're doing? Just knocking down those distractions?
Identifying them, knocking them down, right? Sharing perspective. What I found is more powerful is not for me to tell you that distraction is not a distraction, but to create a dialogue with you so that eventually you come upon the fact that the distraction is not a distraction. I want it to be your idea.
Sure.
Because if it's my idea,
right,
that's easy for Dre to say.
Right.
That's easy for Richelle to say.
Right.
That's easy for Marquel to say.
Right.
Because many times people don't understand that the same things we're talking them through, we had to be talked through.
Right? Several times, right?
Right?
Right? Because we didn't learn it the first time.
Bingo.
And we had to do it again. Right?
Bingo. Or at the time, we weren't equipped or knowledgeable enough to be able to navigate through it on our own. So we had to have someone to help us identify how we can navigate it, right?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You when you were first born, few months old, 9 months old, 10 months old, 11 months old, and you first started trying to walk,
right,
you bust your behind a lot.
Yeah.
And people saw you bust your behind, and then what they do? What did Auntie Richelle do? Right? Auntie Richelle picked that baby up by their hands. You know how we get them to grab onto our fingers?
The fingers.
Right? We stand right behind them, right?
Yeah.
And allow them to start to walk. It's the same exact thing. That's why most people walk in this world, because they had someone to be able to help stabilize them. That's my only role, is to help stabilize our clients mentally so that they can look, we work with doctors, we work with lawyers.
Yep.
The two individuals that built this company are a high school dropout and a college dropout. Yeah. And on a daily basis, we're working with people that, from a paper book standpoint, are way more educated than us.
Sure.
Way more educated.
Yeah.
Right? Way more knowledgeable in their particular expertise. And we put this thing before them, this challenge of building a business, which they most definitely can do.
Absolutely.
Because all you have to do is learn something and do it repeatedly.
Right. Which you've mastered, you've done for 16 years in some cases.
You've done for a majority of your life. No matter what you think about, you learned it first and you repeated it. Yeah. That's why you don't see anyone bend down to tie their shoes at 35 and be like, dang, which rabbit ear do I put the other rabbit ear over? Because you've been doing it for 30 some odd years.
Sure.
Right?
Right.
So, but the thing is, it's not the repeated activity that takes people out of the game. It's having the wherewithal to repeat the activity. All of us are capable of learning, capable of doing. The things that sometimes make us incapable is our minds. How we think about it. Like, that's why threats are so big, because it's how we think about it, right? Sometimes threats can be great ideas, right?
Yeah.
That one great idea. We do it all the time at CAU. We come up with a great idea. We throw it around. We get all excited about it. And then someone says, you know what? Maybe we should table that. Maybe we shouldn't do it right now.
Right.
Because if we did it right now, it's a distraction to what we're already doing.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Threats show up in every aspect of our lives, y'all. Yeah. Every aspect of our lives. You have to be able to have a great sense, a great awareness of who you are. Have a great knowledge of how you can change the dynamic or change the perspective of your distraction so that you can leverage yourself in a way to be able to get to where you want to go. That's plain and simple.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Well, it's no wonder that, I'm going to brag for a minute, that at CAU we have a 70+% graduation rate, that we have crazy off the chart NPS scores, better than Apple, better than Nordstrom, better than big companies out there. And that we have so many success stories, pound for pound, over $1 billion in revenue from our clients.
Hey, that's billion with a B.
With a B, right?
And 99.9% of our clients look like me and Richelle. Let's.
That's right. Right. And folks, who were never should have made it, had every obstacle, had, grew up. Any story you want, we got
any
one.
Story you want, we got one for it, for sure.
We got one for you of a non-traditional route that are killing it, and they're killing it because they do see, they hear your flaws supposedly, or your bumps, and they see how you made it, and so they are inspired by you, Mr. Gaskin. They love you. They're afraid to look in your eyes, though.
They are.
That's the truth. We go, don't look in his eyes. Do not look in Aundrae's eyes. Because he's gonna break you there. But help breaking over those distractions.
Thank you so much for listening to my passion project and the $1 Million Equation podcast. Love what you're hearing. If you like it, I love it. So click the subscribe button to get each week your new favorite episode.
Tell me, Aundrae, who was your absolute favorite client? Not the, ideal client. Who's your favorite over the years?
Man, it's a great question. So,
you can have a couple.
Okay. I would say pick a man and a woman.
Okay.
And do that. First of all, my favorite type of clients are clients that just refuse to fail. Right. No matter what they're going through, not like they refuse to fail. They're gonna execute. If it's not working the right way, like they're gonna figure it out, whatever the case may be. Hell or high water, I'm gonna make this work. Right. The clients that have the proper perspective, that understand that in their professional world, there was probably a time where they started entry level and got to the position that they were, and the time in between there was years. And so they understand that they're not going to jump right into business and totally, turn their entire life around in a few days, but it's going to take time, just like their growth through the corporate sector took time. I love people like that. My favorite client, if I had to name them, one would be Danielle Graves, right? And the other one would be Mike Williams, and I'm going to tell you why. Danielle Graves came through our program at a time where I probably shouldn't have been client facing. My grandma had just passed. My grandfather passed 2 weeks before. And she was in the program going through some challenges when it came to certain aspects of our program. And she had some phenomenal questions. She had some roadblocks. She had some things she was working through. And one day on a coaching call, I absolutely let her have it for no reason. For no reason. Sidebar, you don't have to be perfect in this life or in business, but you have to be willing to improve, right? So I let her have it for no reason. I didn't do anything that I usually do. When I told you all at the beginning of the call that I listened, I didn't listen to her. I listened to enough for me to respond, and then I pounced on her like a lion in the Sahara chasing an antelope. Right? The reason why she's my favorite is because she not only overcame that in order to build the business that she's building right now, but her level of forgiveness allowed her to actually become a member of my team under my leadership. That's bananas.
Yeah.
That's bananas. And guess what? I didn't even realize that she was the same person until months later when she reminded me of what happened. And I almost, I've been apologizing to her ever since.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But my favorite clients, right? It didn't happen for her immediately. She didn't know exactly the lane she wanted to fill immediately.
Yeah.
Right? The leads didn't flow for her like she wanted them to immediately. The sales didn't come immediately. The ideal clients didn't come immediately, but she always knew that they would come eventually.
Yeah.
And she tweaked, she made changes, she remained coachable. And not only is she one of our prize clients when it comes to the success that she's created in her own business, but she's also a dynamic coach inside of CAU. assisting me in helping our clients achieve wins on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So that's Coach D. Coach Mike. Coach Mike is the person that I say went from uncoachable to coachable in one conversation, right? Mike was like most clients who have a little bit of expertise. They already think like, okay, I'm hearing what he's saying, right? But I already know what to do. I already know that I can do it this way, right? I just needed this little bitty thing that they offer, but the rest of this I already know how to do.
Yeah.
And he got on a coaching call one day. We have a particular formula for how we set up Facebook ads. And he didn't, by the way, you can find that formula. You can learn more about that formula by going to paydadplaybook.com.
Paydadplaybook.com.
Yeah. Right. So he gets on the coaching call and he's like, hey man, like my conversions, my leads, that's not flowing the way, I think they should be. He just got started and things. And I was like, okay, show your screen. Let me see your numbers. Nothing we told Mike to do was what Mike did, right? And so on the call, I say, so my language was a little bit more colorful on the call, but I was like, hey, so you just do what the hell you want to do, huh? And this is a man talking to another grown man. And the word I used was the F-bomb. So you just do what the F you want to do.
Yeah. This
isn't a one-on-one call. This is a group call, right? So now imagine, man to man, we men fight for less. For real. Men fight for less, right? And so the brother was cool, quiet, and collective like he is, right? Man, he was like, all right, well, what do I need to do? Switched it up, made our adjustments. And again, Mike was another guy that it didn't happen immediately. He made a couple of changes to his target audience before he really found a niche he could work in.
Yeah.
Right? And and once he found a niche that could work, he tried to grow too fast.
Yeah.
We remember that, right? He tried to grow he'll tell you, right? He almost killed his business trying to go too fast. Corrected himself, listened to coaching, probably talked to everybody he could, Richelle, myself, Marquel, like whoever would listen, he was trying to talk to him, right? Yeah. Took his coaching, adjusted things the way he adjusted things. Again, not only getting clients on demand, but he's a part of the coaching staff as well, right? Handpicked to solely work on individuals, our clients that come through the pipeline with their Facebook ads, the same things he did himself, right? He now is doing inside the CAU and in his own business. And the thing I love about Mike is being able to keep all of those things under control. He's a cop, right? He's a husband. He's all these different things, but he's able to compartmentalize and keep those things under control in order to be what he needs to be, the best version of what he needs to be in each of those moments when he's called upon. So those would be two of my favorite clients. I got a feeling once people see this podcast episode, they're gonna start hitting me up like, oh, I'm not your favorite client. Oh, I'm not your favorite client. Oh, I'm not your favorite client. So I can only imagine. And you told me what bro said. He went to Safeway. He went to safe route. But those would be my favorite clients.
Hey you, we are so grateful that you are part of MDE Nation. Are you enjoying this episode? Let me know what you think, especially if you have a question. I would love to answer it personally. You can go to RichelleShaw.com/podcast to get more information about each episode. Or sure to be reminded of the MDE weekly assignment and so much more. Go to RichelleShaw.com/podcast.
Well, I get that all the time because I always say, that you're my favorite. And then bro gets mad and I have to be like, no, you're my favorite. So I have lots of favorites.
You can have that, right? You can have lots of favorites. So, but if you're talking about those two, I feel embody what we're all about at Client Attraction University, and that is development.
Yeah.
Right? You don't become a successful business owner. No. You develop into a successful business owner. Think about business just like you think about sports. Yep. You would never tell your 6-year-old, you can be in the NBA now.
Right.
You can be in the NFL now.
Right.
You can be in the MLB now. You can be on the Olympic volleyball team now. You cannot.
Right.
You can aspire to be that now.
Correct.
But you have to develop into that.
Right. And you're not going to do it in 12 weeks.
No, you're not.
So let's just be clear.
Let's just be clear. Let's just be clear.
Yeah.
Right?
I get them all the time, Richelle, well, I thought I'd have $1 million. When did you think?
When did you think that? Right.
You thought it'd be done after 12 weeks, after you read my book? Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding? Right.
What are we talking about? Yes, I was able to synthesize it into, 168 pages.
Right.
But each page was, some of them was 10 years.
Right.
So that I could get this concept, so that I could communicate it in one page to you.
Absolutely.
Like, what are you talking
about? People don't understand that their business is working on them.
Yes.
As they're working on the business.
Absolutely.
And so like when I was
so many of them get caught up in like the microwave ain't fast enough for them.
Right.
I'm like, we didn't even have a microwave when I was little. Yeah. I mean, I know you can see some of the gray. Like, we had to put it in the oven. That was 25 minutes. And then you had to smell it in the oven, getting warmed up. We used to be like, is it ready? No. It's only been in there 5 minutes, but I smell it.
Yeah. The biggest mistake that I see, or the biggest, I think, thing in the marketplace that I see that we definitely need to do the work to change over time. Yeah. And I feel like I'm an advocate for it. Not just an advocate for it, but I feel like I've been called to spearhead this movement. Yeah. Is like getting away from hot pocket wealth. Yeah. Right? So my favorites, so when I used to eat Hot Pockets, right? And Armand's, my son's favorite Hot Pockets are the pepperoni pizza Hot Pockets, right? And he loves them, but every time he eats one, he'll tell you it don't taste like real pizza, right? Because real pizza takes a little bit more time. Right. You gotta make the dough. Yeah. Right? You gotta wait for that dough to rise, right? Then you gotta knead the dough out, right? Then you gotta chop up all your different vegetables, your pepperoni, your all that. You gotta grate your cheese up, right? Yeah. Then you gotta put it on, then you gotta put it in that oven, right? That oven takes a while. Yeah. Like the brick ovens, the real brick ovens, real pizza. Right? It takes a while. Then you got to go in there and spin it around and turn. Like, we don't want to do the process. No. We just want something that tastes a little bit like what we're used to. So we're good with hot pocket wealth. Yep. But hot pocket wealth is a couple $1,000s. If you want to make a couple $1,000s, you can do that without us. Right. You can do that on a hustle. You can do that on the block. I'm not telling nobody to go sell drugs, but I am saying.
But yeah, You could definitely.
You can find multiple ways to make a few $1,000s a week, a month.
That's why I tell them to go on and get on the, just go drive.
Yeah. Uber. Right. Seriously. But if you really want to make legacy altering wealth, if you want to have a legacy altering impact, actually I should say that the other way around, because people don't understand the wealth comes from the impact. Right. The impact, the wealth doesn't create the impact. The impact creates the wealth. A lot of times we don't want to be put in a position to be of impact because we feel like we're inadequate because we don't have the wealth.
Right.
Well, everyone that made an impact before they had the wealth.
Yep. Yep. But so many don't, they think that the money, like even when I rebuilt back my $1 million business, I didn't even know it. Like I didn't even know it. It was September, right? And I looked to see how much I had deposited in the bank. It was $940,000. I was like, wait, what? I didn't even know it because it was more about that serving part, right? I'm not gonna lie, at the 100 million, at the 3 million a month, I knew that because I was paying attention.
Right.
But it was also, my goal was just to make the money. It wasn't to serve.
Right.
But when I changed it to serve, I had no idea. But
that's wealth in abundance.
That's
wealth in abundance. And then you sleep better.
Absolutely.
Right? Because, and I always trip out, Richelle, and we laugh about this, right? But I always trip out because people, it's like, how do you believe you're gonna make $1 million? Like, totally in a vacuum, easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Yeah.
That, like, what?
No.
You know what I'm saying? And then some people don't even know like what they ask for. They don't even know what that looks like. Like, if you just make $1 million flat out, but you don't have an accountant to help you keep a majority of that, you giving that all back to Uncle Sam anyway.
Well, that's eventually, right? You may not immediately, but eventually, and you gotta hope that when it's time to pay him, that you still have some left.
Right.
Because you don't realize what it looks like. I tell folks all the time, you getting $20,000 a month would change your life.
Change your whole life.
Right. Consistent. Because once you get a house and a car, now you just feeding your vices. Right.
Listen.
So let's just really talk about what this is. And your vices are the biggest distractions because you don't feel worthy. You're not, all these other crazy things that come up. But I they never really know what it is, and you won't know till you did it. That's why I always like to be around to go, oh, you didn't think it was gonna be that way, Okay, well, this is what it looks like on this other side. You've just made this an oasis, this panacea, right?
Right.
This unrealistic thing because it seems so far off.
Right, unrealistic expectations. The funniest thing is when we have clients that first come in, they say, oh, I want to build a 7-figure business, right?
Yep.
We help them out, we work with them. They get to about that 200K and they're like, you know what? If I'm being honest, I can just stay here. Yeah, I can just stay here. How do I sustain 250K a year?
Yeah.
Right? Whole different conversation now.
Whole different. Well, because how much they think that they need is nowhere near how much you actually really need. And you just create these big things that just don't even make sense. But Aundrae, we could go on and on.
We could go on and on.
Forever. And I know I'm in the middle of I forced you to come do this today.
Oh, listen. First of all, it's funny you say you did the interview with Marquel on a Sunday. And then I don't do nothing on Fridays, right? So just the fact that we'll block off the calendar for OG. You know what I'm saying? It has been an honor. This is the best way to spend my Friday is with you, just doing what we do anyway.
Look at that, just shooting the shit, right?
Yeah.
I love you for free.
Love you for free as
the
well.
World to know that. You know, I love you. You can have whatever you want from me. You know that. At any
I
time.
appreciate you, OG. I appreciate
at any time. Hey y'all, my good friend Aundrae Gaskin